Hey, Joyful Journeyer. Anita Adams here, your host. And today I want to dive into a topic that is close to my heart, the art of listening. Although I often talk about the importance of listening to your inner wisdom, today we're going to talk about how to listen to others for deeper connection and understanding. Have you ever noticed how many people don't really listen? Instead, they seem to be waiting for their turn to speak. You can see it in their eyes. They're not fully present. They're already thinking about what they want to say next. Sometimes they don't even wait for the other person to finish before jumping in with their thoughts or stories. When this happens, they miss a chance to truly connect, to go beyond the surface. And for the person who isn't being listened to, eventually, they disengage altogether. We live in a world where so many people are starved for real connection. And the solution is simple. Listen more. Create space for others to share without cutting them off or rushing to respond. Be curious about the person you're with. More of us need to practice being interested rather than trying to be interesting. I used to be that person who focused on trying to be interesting rather than interested. I wanted people to like me, think I was cool. And I thought the way to do that was by dazzling them with, my awesomeness. But that approach, left me feeling pretty empty. Thankfully, I had some good people in my life who helped me realize what I was missing, especially my husband. Over the years, he taught me the art of truly listening. He's one of the best listeners I've ever met. He makes people feel heard by simply giving them the space to talk, listening intentionally, and asking thoughtful questions. What a gift to make someone feel important enough to be truly heard. I'd love to share 3 tips to help you develop your own listening skills. The first is be in the noticing. And what I mean by that is becoming aware when you're not listening. Don't judge yourself for it. Just notice it and gently bring your focus back to the person you're speaking with. Awareness, as I often say, is the key to creating lasting change. Second, don't multitask, especially if someone is sharing something important. Put down your phone, stop doing the dishes, turn and face them. These small actions signal to the other person that they matter and that you value what they have to say. When I started doing this with my children, it transformed our relationship. My body language told them they were important, that I wanted to listen. I believe this is the big reason why my children are so competent today. They've always felt heard. The third tip, use your breath to ground yourself and refocus. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Sometimes we stop listening because we're nervous. Maybe we're being interviewed, talking to someone who intimidates us, or meeting a potential client. In these moments, deep breathing can ground us and help us open our ears to what's really being said. It's a technique you can use both before or during a conversation to bring yourself back to the present. All right, let's take it up a notch now and explore a deeper form of listening. Listening from the heart. I've been reading a book, Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda. And something he said really struck me. What a person imagines he hears and what the speaker has really implied may be pulls apart. He goes on to add, try to feel the thoughts behind the confusion of men's verbiage. How often have you misunderstood someone because you didn't take the time to feel the meaning behind their words? I know I've been guilty of this. Often we are triggered by what someone says and we unintentionally add meaning that wasn't there. This happened to me recently, actually, in a conversation about this very book. A dear friend who's also a spiritual mentor recommended Autobiography of a Yogi. And after suggesting the book, she added, You might not be ready for it. Hearing that triggered me. It brought up that old voice inside, the one that says, I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough to get it. Of course, that wasn't what she meant, but her words shut me down and created a disconnect between us. If I had taken the time to feel the thoughts behind the words, I would have realized she wasn't questioning my intelligence. She was simply suggesting that the book might not be the next best step for me on my spiritual path. Can you think of a time when you misunderstood someone because you felt triggered? How did you respond? Did it shut you down? Or did you react with hurtful words? I'm sure we've all been there. So, how do we listen beyond the confusion of words? It starts with practicing the power of the pause. Before reacting or jumping to conclusions, take a deep breath, or two or three. Notice if you feel triggered or if you are assigning unintended meaning to what was said. Assess the situation and don't be afraid to ask for clarification. You can do this in just a moment. That deep breath is essential. It calms your mind, allowing you to recognize if you're reacting from a place of hurt. It also gives you a moment to consider your relationship with the speaker. Are they usually kind or hurtful? Do you have or want a relationship built on love and support? If so, that's your cue to ensure you're both truly understanding each other. If not, and that person tends to be toxic, it's still helpful to seek clarity before deciding to let the situation and maybe the person go. The final step is to ask clarifying questions. In my situation, a question I eventually asked my friend, though it took me a month, was, in what way do you think I'm not ready for this book? Asking open-ended questions like this gives the other person space to reflect on their own words and clear up any confusion. This is how we listen with the heart. And when we do, we deepen our connections with others and help ourselves and others feel less isolated in a world that can often seem disconnected. Joyful Journeyers, thank you for tuning into today's episode. I appreciate having you on this journey with me, and I hope you have people in your life who make you feel heard. Keep practicing your listening skills. It'll not only transform your relationships, but also make our world a kinder place. And remember, if you need support on your spiritual or personal growth journey, I'm here for you. Reach out to ask about my programs or visit my website at joyfulinspiredliving.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch up next time. Bye for now.